there was a case in New York where a police officer was caught planting drugs into a black man's vehicle while the black man was handcuffed.
How did he get caught, Anna?
He got caught with his own dash cam. Wow. So I love this. A local newspaper found this surveillance. They just posted it up on YouTube, and now it's obviously going viral. We want to show the video to you guys as well, so let's watch it. So the cop is on the right-hand side of the vehicle, or in the passenger side. And you can see him shuffling around a little bit.
How does the moron not know that there's a camera on his dashboard? Or I guess he forgot. You know what's interesting about this? Is that it's probably so commonplace, at least for him, that he probably didn't even think twice about it.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Remember, we did a story about New York before where police officers would literally walk into bars and plant drugs into people's coats. Mm-hmm. So they would put drugs into, they'd find whatever, some minority, doesn't matter. They would put drugs into his coat, and then they'd be like, they would do like one of those stop and frisks, and then they would be like, oh, what is this bag of cocaine doing in your coat?
And they would have to say it just like that. What is this bag of cocaine doing in your coat? And it could be any minority, you know. They usually go for blacks or Latinos, but like, oh, we got an Asian, does that count? I gotta go for it.
Yeah.
Just like you guys were going to do that segment, or at least the mention you guys do every once in a while of tax the rich, every time something like this comes up, I'm just going to say, if I were a black kid, that's all. These are the things that happen to black folks that he didn't go through in that whole thing. If I were a black kid in America, that's all.
Yeah, that's the, JR's referring to that op-ed in Forbes where some middle-aged white guy writes if
I were a poor black kid.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's like, what? I just work harder. And then when they planted the drugs in my car, I would have hoped that I worked so hard that I was already rich and had a good lawyer. Right? So it's not just that simple, which is what JR points out.
Yeah, I love that you brought that up. That's a perfect point for this story.
Right. No, look, I'm actually really heartened by this story because apparently there's someone in America who still cares to bust that guy. Right? I mean, normally that kind of stuff gets swept under the rug. Like, wow, they cared? They busted the cop? Fantastic. Do you believe in miracles?
I'm guessing it happened after. I don't know what happened. I'm guessing, so I'm probably wrong. But maybe the video came out and they went, oh, what are we going to do? Guess we got to get him.
It has to be something like that.
So you think that, the police, police enforcement weren't going to do anything about it until the video was released and then finally they're like, yeah.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised.
When's the last time cops turned on each other and was like, oh, we've got some secret evidence against one of our own? Yeah, let's make a big public case out of that. Yeah, the only time the cops have turned on one another is when Bill O'Reilly paid them to. Okay? When they investigated their own cop for having sex with O'Reilly.
I mean, think about it. This police officer, I don't know where he's keeping it, but he's patrolling, working, on duty with drugs on him. He has drugs on him. Where does he get them from? Who knows about it? I don't know what kind of sequence you go through to go out into the field, but you have drugs on you. Somebody knows.